Three major platforms lead much of today's frontier AI ecosystem: OpenAI, Anthropic, and Google. But choosing between them is not about hype or benchmark headlines. For developers, the real differences are agent execution, coding reliability, multimodal context, latency, deployment features, and unit economics. Welcome back to AI Sandbox. Today, we're putting OpenAI, Claude, and Gemini head-to-head. We'll examine where each ecosystem is strongest, compare their LangChain integrations, and build a practical routing strategy that combines capability, reliability, and cost. Let's begin with OpenAI. OpenAI has evolved from conversational models into a broader execution platform for production agents. Its current GPT 5.6 family supports configurable reasoning effort, structured outputs, tool calling, and complex multi-step workflows. This makes OpenAI a strong option for applications that require predictable tool orchestration, structured responses, and controlled reasoning depth. In LangChain, you can initialize an OpenAI model through the unified init_chat_model interface. You can then apply with structured output using a pydantic model or JSON schema. This helps ensure that the model returns data matching the structure expected by your application. However, structured output does not eliminate every production failure. Your application must still handle refusals, network errors, validation failures, timeouts, and incomplete tool execution. OpenAI is particularly useful for STEM reasoning, structured extraction, tool-heavy agents, and workflows that require configurable reasoning effort. For long-running tasks, the Responses API also supports conversation state management and compaction, allowing agents to continue working without repeatedly sending the complete history. Next is Anthropic. Anthropic's Claude family, led by Claude Sonnet 5 and its higher capability Opus models, remains especially strong for software engineering and long-running agent workflows. Claude is well suited to repository analysis, multi-file code changes, architecture reviews, debugging, and tasks where instruction adherence must remain stable across many steps. In LangChain, Claude can also be initialized through init_chat_model. Claude's adaptive thinking system allows the model to dynamically allocate more reasoning effort when a task becomes difficult. This is useful when a coding agent moves from simple file inspection into complex dependency analysis or architectural planning. Anthropic also supports prompt caching. When large, reusable prompt prefixes, such as repository context, technical documentation, or system instructions, are cached correctly, Anthropic reports potential input cost reductions of up to 90% and latency reductions of up to 80%. These are maximum potential savings, not guaranteed results. Actual savings depend on cache configuration, prompt stability, cache lifetime, and request patterns. For long-running software engineering agents, Claude's combination of coding quality, adaptive reasoning, large context, and prompt caching makes it a strong default. Now let's look at Google Gemini. Google's Gemini ecosystem leads in multimodal processing and high-throughput inference. Gemini 3.5. Flash accepts text, images, audio, video, and PDF inputs. It supports an input context window of approximately 1 million tokens, allowing developers to process large repositories, lengthy documents, audio recordings, and video files inside a single workflow. Gemini 3.1 Pro also supports approximately 1 million input tokens, but it remains a preview model and should be evaluated carefully before production use. In LangChain, Gemini uses the same init_chat_model pattern, which makes switching between providers much easier. Gemini 3.5 Flash is optimized for fast, high-volume agentic and multimodal workloads. Google reports that it delivers significantly higher output throughput than many competing frontier models, but real production latency still depends on prompt size, reasoning settings, region, network conditions, rate limits, and output length. Gemini is especially useful for video understanding, document ingestion, audio analysis, large context retrieval, and applications already integrated with Google Cloud. The most important lesson is that you do not need to lock your application into one provider. LangChain provides a common interface across OpenAI, Anthropic, and Google. Using init_chat_model, you can configure models from different providers without rewriting your entire application. Using with _fallbacks, you can attempt a secondary model when the primary provider returns an error. A simplified production flow might look like this. Claude Sonnet handles the primary coding request. If Claude encounters a rate limit or service error, the request falls back to GPT 5.6. If that provider is also unavailable, Gemini 3.5 Flash becomes the third option. Fallbacks improve resilience, but they do not guarantee zero downtime. Each provider may interpret prompts differently, support different tools, or return slightly different structured outputs. Production systems should therefore normalize schemas, classify retriable errors, apply timeouts, track provider health, and test each fallback path independently. Here is the production routing cheat sheet: root repository analysis, multi-file refactoring, architecture work, and long-running coding agents to Claude Sonnet. Root structured agent execution, tool orchestration, extraction, and difficult stem reasoning to OpenAI's GPT family. Root large context retrieval, video ingestion, document processing, audio analysis, and high-volume multimodal workloads to Gemini Flash. For simple tasks, route requests to a smaller or faster model instead of using the most expensive frontier model. For difficult tasks, increase reasoning effort or escalate to a higher capability model. For critical systems, use retries, fallbacks, observability, schema validation, and provider-specific evaluations. There is no universal winner. Claude is a strong choice for software engineering and sustained agent work. OpenAI is strong for structured execution, tool orchestration, and configurable reasoning. Gemini is strong for multimodal scale, large context processing, and throughput. The best production architecture combines these strengths rather than depending completely on one provider. Understanding the architectural differences between OpenAI, Claude, and Gemini helps you build AI systems that are more capable, resilient, and cost-efficient. Subscribe to AI Sandbox for more privacy-first, open-source, and developer-focused AI guides.